everybody. Welcome back to the Jodo Cast, your home for Star Wars gaming, and it is our 50th annual end of year Jodo Cast Game Awards show. Don't look that up. The time of year where we look back at everything we realize we forgot about. We go, oh yeah, that was a thing that happened this year, and talk about the best and I guess a little bit of the worst of 2024 in Star Wars gaming. I'm Joe. Joining us at this prestigious location in the Outer Rim, or the core. I feel like this is a Core Worlds kind of event.
I don't know. I feel like we're kind of an Outer Rim podcast, right? We're a little
Yeah, but like
off the
every
beaten
once a year
path. We're pirate radio.
we rent out a space. Although it feels like maybe like more of a Canto Bite kind of skeezy kind of thing. I don't know. We got Leo.
Hey.
He's excited. And Kurt.
Hello.
And
I'm sure everyone's excited to learn if my Game of the Year pick is the same as it's been every year. All 50 years, did you say it was?
Yeah, it's been longer than Star Wars has been a thing. We've been doing the Star Wars gaming show.
It was originally called Star Wars Gaming Show, but that was like a general term. You know, we didn't know it was going to be a franchise. It was just like games about wars in stars. We just thought we invented the term.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like this could be the year that it changes. I don't know. I think
George Lucas
words
like
are
heard
old
it.
pick out of the water. You know.
He didn't steal everything else was original George, but the name he stole that from us. So before we get started, just want to say there's been a great year for the Jodo Cast. Thanks to everybody who's tuned into our stuff, watched it, listened to it, talked to us about it, thought about it, sang about it. Maybe one day we'll get like we'll compose a song about how much they love
rapped about it.
Yeah.
Drew
journaled
an
about
anime intro opening theme song video about it.
Street arted about it. Love seeing all that Jodo street art going up in Berlin and London and New York.
Sculpted about it. Yes.
Yeah. So thanks everybody who did that. If you haven't, you should find some sort of channel or outlet to like and or subscribe to us either on YouTube or whatever, or you can join on Patreon, where if you really like us, that's where you go and you get access to a few special things like an exclusive channel on our Discord and more kind of behind the scenes stuff, and every once in a while there's some exclusive content there. So
like the Noodle Scooter Book Club, that was this year, right? That was the best book club of the year. I'll give it that award.
That was the best book club of the year. Yeah, starting off with those kind of softball awards that just kind of show up on the side of the screen, people texting about. So yeah, that's if you like us, make sure you're up on all of your subscriptions and things, because that's unfortunately what it takes to like grow in this space. We've been pretty stagnant for the last 50 years. But that's because for like 40 of those, subscribers weren't like a thing. That's something you had to like mail in, and we were really bad at the whole post office aspect.
We were just kind of talking out loud, and there was no way to distribute recordings of ourselves until podcasts were invented.
Well, we remember there was that week we just threw 8-tracks at people, and that was okay until that restraining order came in, and then we had to put a stop to that.
It gets expensive fast.
Yeah, I mean, there was the note was like, okay, after you listen, please just give this to somebody else. But then, we got labeled demonic because people thought it was like a chain letter thing. Anyway, so we are going to move into our awards for the year. And to recap, it has been a very big year for Star Wars gaming. And I'm going to list everything that I at least remember that came out this year, new this year in Star Wars gaming. A new thing I just learned of today, which I don't know if it qualifies or not. because I haven't even had time to look into it, is the uh, Gravitrax Star Wars Death Star action set. Gravitrax is apparently a line of marble rollers, marble runs. People like their marble runs. It's like a Star Wars themed marble run. I just added it to my wish list today in case it qualifies. It's from
Now
Raven
I've heard of Kessel runs.
Marble
What are
Runs.
marble
It's
runs?
the marble that made the Gravitrax marble run in like 30 seconds. A marble
So
run
no,
is
yeah, I
it's
was gonna
just
say,
like
is it
a
an actual a game, or is it just
that's what
like
I
you just
need
make
to
a marble
discern.
run?
Well, it looks like you're making a marble run. It's
I
$80
think
though, so it's you
it
it
sounds like in the 80s people would have called that a game, like sort of an interactive toy thing, sort
Right.
of.
It's from Ravensburger. Ravensburger, if I'm not mistaken, they make games. They're the people who published Lorcana. They've done a few Star Wars titles like Villainous. Um,
And
Hmm.
they also just do like puzzles. Like that's their main thing is puzzles.
yeah. So, like I said, I haven't looked into it, so I don't know if this qualifies. Uh,
But that's our game of the year. It's that good. We
I mean,
just
it
won.
looks cool. It's very visually interesting. I don't know how. I feel like you can't get that much distance out of it to make a because all the coolest marble runs take like 5 minutes, and you watch, and the guy's got to like run a mile keeping up with the marbles. Anyway, um, so there's that. In other things that we are sure are games that came out in 2024, we've got Star Wars Unlimited, came out in March. We at the Jodo Cast were among the first members of the public to ever get to play that game with our own hands in February when we attended the Star Wars Unlimited community celebration. So that's a huge highlight of 2024 for us.
But we're not going to let that cloud our judgment. We're going to be completely unbiased.
We've got Clone Wars, the deck building game. I never remember if it's called Star Wars: The Deck Builder or Deck Building. In any case, the Clone Wars version of Star Wars deck building game came out this year. Star Wars Rivals, that little collectible game from Funko, Series 2 of that came out. So more of that game. The Mandalorian Adventures, pretty big notable board game that came out this year. Bounty Hunters, the small light I don't know if you want to call it a card game,
Sort of card
board
game.
game, like little family size game that came out this year. Hunters, without the word bounty, came out, the mobile slash Switch arena hero shooter game.
But coming soon to
Outlaws,
PC.
yeah, that maybe it's out on, when is it out on PC? Is it like
I
the
thought it was
13th or something?
January sometime.
Oh, maybe there
It's
was like a little beta or
it's
something.
like
I don't know.
early access,
Very
but
soon it'll
yeah.
be on PC. But it's definitely still going to feel like a mobile game. Uh, Outlaws came out, big old AAA game. Um, Survive the Sarlacc I put on this list. I think technically it came out in 2023, but I didn't know it existed until this year, and I bought it this year, so it sort of counts. Because it's another game that you can't buy in America. I bought it from Amazon UK. It's about surviving the Sarlacc, I guess, or maybe just trying not to get tossed into it. I don't know. I haven't played it, but it's what I want to get on the table. And then we've got a bunch of expansions for Legion, Rebel Sleeper Cell, Bad Batch, Riot Troopers, probably some other stuff that came out earlier in the year. It's been a long year. And
The I think, are the crab droid, is the crab droid out yet?
No,
Okay.
that's
not out
gonna be
yet.
January.
Okay, not quite yet. I couldn't remember if that had hit yet.
There's got to be more for Shatterpoint or for Legion. Shatterpoint had the
A
like the Bounty
lot.
Hunter pack, the Lando pack, the Armorer Paz Vizsla Mandalorians pack, Veers, Crosshairs, Bad Batch people, the Spectre kits, so the Hanan one, the Hera one, Bad Batch, and then probably a couple others earlier in the year that I'm forgetting about. So, to the best of my knowledge, as a professional podcast journalist man who ostensibly is supposed to know all of this stuff, that's all the Star Wars games that came out in 2024, which is a lot. There have been years where we've gotten like a list of like 2 things.
Yeah, honestly, it's been tough to pick this year in a lot of ways compared to some years where it's like, what's the most improved? I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff coming out. But I will say, before we get into actual awards, I think a lot of award ceremonies have an in memoriam section where you talk about
Oh yeah.
people that passed away this year. So there have been some games that died this year, unfortunately too. So we should like pour one out for them quick. I feel like, which is specifically, people probably already know, but like X-Wing and Armada were both canceled this year, which
Like
is,
production wise,
I
they
think,
didn't
is
do
really sad.
anything
Well, yeah.
obscene.
Yeah.
Cancel culture finally came for X-Wing.
Um,
Yeah, definitely. R.I.P. those games.
Now they are
There's
still
actually-
being continuing on with fan work, both
In our hearts.
It's true.
both games, but any official support, with any new official,
They're still doing OP though, aren't they?
it's for now, at
They're a
least
little
least through Worlds they are for sure.
Okay.
Whether anything continues past Worlds,
Yeah.
What was I gonna say on that front? I forgot. There's something.
It's a shame because they were good games, and we
Oh,
kind of saw it coming to some extent.
Yeah,
But
there is an X-Wing 2.0 tournament coming up at the store where I go to play games now, and I'm like, I guess 2.5 or whatever. I'm like, maybe I should throw something together and see. I should see how many people are going to go and if anybody's willing to like be patient with me because it's been a little while since I played. But that'd be fun, I think.
I mean,
So-
it's definitely still a fun game. Armada is still a great game. I think with Armada, it's especially a shame because we never really got a fully fleshed out Clone Wars fleet. Everyone, if you're watching this as a video, comment F below to pay respects
F in the
to
chat.
X-Wing and Armada.
Yes, please. And we will take a moment right now to type F on our own computers.
Done.
We are going to start with Rookie of the Year.
did you say Wookiee of the Year?
No, Rookie. Like that great movie about the kid who plays for the Cubs.
I was just gonna say, whenever someone uses that phrase, all I can picture is that movie.
Rabin Boozer.
I can hear the sound effect of like the shoulder creak. You know what I mean?
Funky butt loving.
Oh, funky butt loving.
He just said,
A good movie. And I've recently learned that that weird I don't remember his name. It's been a long time since I've seen it. The weird guy in that movie who gets stuck between the doors in the hotel.
Little help. Little help now.
who's also like what's his the one of the thieves in Home Alone.
Is he? Sure. Yeah. I think he was like contractually obligated to be in the movie, but didn't want to be. Maybe he was the director, and so he had all those scenes where he gets stuck in the locker room and stuck between the doors just to get his character out of the movie for as much as possible. Anyway, that's your Rookie of the Year trivia segment in our Rookie of the Year awards.
Wow, he was the director. I'm learning so much new stuff.
Yeah, that's why you
Watch
come to
that.
the Jodo cast. We sprinkle in 90s kids baseball movie trivia in our Star Wars awards. Okay, so Rookie of the Year. I will start because the way this works, if you're unfamiliar, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. We have awards. Each of us has our own winner for these awards. And my award for Rookie of the Year goes to, I'm going to give it to Star Wars Outlaws. I would have given it to Star Wars Hunters had Outlaws not existed, because both of those games surprised me with how much I enjoyed them and how much time I put into them. But because of the two, I think Outlaws is a better game. And if someone was like, which one of these two do I want to play? I'd say, well, pick Outlaws because it's like a AAA single player experience, whereas Hunters is a little mobile-ish game. I pick Outlaws as my rookie of the year because it didn't suck, which was is kind of like what we expect by default of new big Star Wars video games, and I really liked it. So there you go, Star Wars
I feel
Outlaws.
like that's what I would if we still had. I think we've done it in years past. Sometimes like the biggest surprise or whatever. Yeah, maybe I probably would have given Outlaws that just for that reason because it it was not as it wasn't. It's still not my favorite game, but it definitely didn't suck. you know. Um, but for my rookie of the year, I had to go with Unlimited. It's definitely the game I've played the most this year. It's the game I've had the most fun with. Um, it's the game that's drained my wallet the most. uh, yeah, just all around, I think Unlimited's been a great game. I'm really happy with what we got.
Kurt, who is your?
I also said Unlimited. Uh, it's a great game in a lot of ways, many ways. It really surprised me, and I think it's one of the games that came out this year that has the most potential to keep growing. Which I think, it, in my personal opinion,
That's
is
a
part of
good
what makes
point.
it a good rookie of the year. It's not just a random thing you'll never see again.
6 months from now, I'll be done with Outlaws. There'll be a bunch of new people picking it up for like $30 and being like, "Well, this is a pretty good game for $30." But
Yeah.
yeah, Unlimited is gonna be around for a long time. Next award. Here's the one that always gets people gasping when we go biggest dud, and people go, "That's an award? We've got our own little mini Razzies or whatever they call them." So
Biggest dud. What's dud bolt? Biggest dud bolt.
the biggest dud brought to you by pod racing superstar Dud Bolt, here with the nominees. By the way, for all of these categories, the nominees are that entire list of games we listed earlier. And when it comes to our Game of the Year award, the list of nominees is every single Star Wars game that has ever existed. It does not have to have come out in 2024. It just has to be your favorite game from that year. So back to biggest dud, which is up to the interpretation of the award giver. Kurt, what is your biggest dud?
My biggest dud was Star Wars Outlaws. I have talked, I think, at length about the bugs and technical issues that I personally had, which I don't need to go into detail on those, but why it's my biggest dud is because I was like so excited about it and I was enjoying it when I was able to play it, but the bugs were so just insane that they killed this high level of hype I had and like completely drained it and made me hate something that I was trying to love. It's not like I tried so hard.
You know what? I almost want to give it biggest dud too, just because what it did to you. Because knowing what you were going through as I was playing, I'm like, Kurt would love this game so much because you just walk around and like look and go look at that thing, and I know Kurt would do that too. But
hopefully it gets working for me at some point. Maybe I'll have to build a new computer before I can do that.
If it hits like $10, I'll buy you a version for PlayStation or something.
Have you tried it again now since the
try it right now.
DLC has come out?
I have not. I have not been able to like. When I think about it, I get like too mad. So sometime next year I'll try it again. And if it works again, maybe I'll end up really liking it and we can add an award for like, oh, we do have an award for most improved. So maybe it'll be my most improved next year. We'll see.
Yeah, that's right, what they were angling for. They were gaming our award system.
Yeah.
My biggest dud, I don't even remember because in the notes I have it highlighted. Oh, I wrote none actually. On retrospect, I can't think of a Star Wars game that I played this year that like let me down. So like
you have very low standards.
I mean, like maybe like the Clone Wars deck builder, which is still really good. I just didn't like it as much as like the Empire and Rebels version. But also I played it less. Outlaws, I loved. Hunters, had a lot of fun with.
It
I
has to be
didn't.
bad enough to be a dud. You can't
Right.
just be like least good.
There's nothing that I would label a dud. And the camera pans over to Dud Bolt, who's like giving a thumbs up. I need to maybe we can put like a stamp of his face on things that are duds. Anyway, this is for the
Bolt seal of disapproval, I guess.
Leo, what is your biggest dud, Mister? I have too high standards. Everything except
it was tough to choose. I ended up going with Hunters.
That's fair.
Which is like, I don't know. It's again not necessarily that I think Hunters is a bad game. I just think it's a game I don't feel like playing. You know, I like it's okay as like a mobile game. I think on Switch it's kind of hot garbage. Like it plays fine and stuff, but you have to deal with like the mobile interface design, which is just like one of the worst things ever. Is where they just like,
like the
they're
menus.
just just the menus, and
the
they're
menus
just shoving like, oh, here's this mission, get these points here, go here to check on this, you've got this little button's lit up, so you got to see why that's lit up. Oh, this one's lit up too, go see why that one's lit up.
You have to go like one tab
at a time, like the experience where you're not in the gameplay is pretty eye melting and lame.
And like I just like, I think it's one of those things where maybe if the game lives long enough to get like a little bit bigger roster of heroes, that could make a big difference. Like there just wasn't enough variety in the heroes you could play. I felt like, especially for it like being in its open access state for as long as it was, I felt like it still kind of came out half baked when it did finally release to everyone. So it's like what, like you said, it was almost your rookie of the year and you enjoyed it, and I can understand why people enjoy it. I just it's just not what I wanted. Like I want, like, Marvel Rivals just came out here last week. Like if we could actually, if Hunters would have been that but Star Wars, we could possibly have had a different rookie of the year from me.
Yeah, that's because I've been playing Marvel Rivals too, and I'm pretty new to the hero shooter genre, and playing Hunters, I'm like, well, yeah, this is a mobile game. But then going from Hunters to Marvel Rivals, which is like, oh, this is an actual game that's like built and like complex and stuff. I'm like, it's so different and almost in an overwhelming way, but it's still like you can feel how much more, heavy lifting and quality and polish it has. And it almost like, oh, maybe Hunters it's less stressful than that because I don't feel like I'm letting my team down when I do bad. Okay, that was the biggest dud. Thank you, Dud Bolt. You can leave now. He walks off stage. He chews the ballots or
to open them. He goes.
Missed. The next award is Missed Out On. Missed Out On is a character. Missed. Wait, her name is Miss Tauton. I don't know. It's hard to turn this one into like some kind of character. Missed Out On, in parentheses, personally. So this is an award. This isn't like a discussion. This is an award that we're giving something that goes, sorry, I wish I could have spent more time with you. Basically, what thing do you wish you had played or played at all or more? Leo.
Um, I had a few things I was thinking of. I considered like Mandalorian Adventures, the Clone Wars deck building, or the Bounty Hunters. Like they're all ones I have played. I wish I played more of them because I find them all to be fun. Uh, but I think in the end, the thing I really missed out on and wish I could have done more was Legion, because I love the game. Um, I just have not found the time or the energy to play. I mean, part of it's because of unlimited, so uh, eating into a lot of my gaming time budget. But even just like the painting, the minis and stuff, like that's a thing I haven't painted anything in months, you know, and I miss doing it. It's just a matter of finding the time, and I wish I had, especially now with the new rules update. I mean, I've only played that very little, but I liked that, and I wish I would have had the time to explore the new rules more.
It's a good point about unlimited though, because it's like in some ways it's like easier to just get in a match or two or whatever of unlimited. It's like uh lower barrier to entry. It's like easier to just like soak up the gaming time with that.
Yeah, and
Like
even
when
if
God
Mhm.
closes a legion, he opens a unlimited.
yeah, 'cause, I mean, even if like if I go to a game store for a Legion, or I mean for an unlimited night, I end up spending roughly the same amount of time in the store as I would have for Legion, but but the difference is I get one game of Legion done. I play, you know, 6 to 9 games of Star Wars in that same, or of Unlimited in that same amount of time.
Yeah.
My missed out on award is uh so I also have Legion just because since I haven't played the new stuff yet because since I moved I have not played Legion. So we moved in August. I have not played since moving. But my true pick, the stamp of I'm sorry, goes on the Mandalorian Adventures because I haven't played it yet. Mine is still in the shrink wrap, which feels really
Wow.
bad because I interviewed Corey right before we moved, and I was like real hyped for the game, and then I saw you guys playing it at Gen Con, and then I picked it up, and we just haven't had time when we have had board game time. There's been somebody else around, so it's been like, well, let's play something more accessible, or something they're familiar with, and then like it's just we haven't had time. I haven't played that Bounty Hunters game either, which I really want to. That came out in the like a month before I moved. So I'll just blame moving, but I feel bad that I have not yet played Mandalorian Adventures. So that is my big missed out on, and hopefully can fix that soon.
So for me, I've definitely missed out on a lot of stuff too. The one I wanted to pick out is Mandalorian Adventures. Mine, at least, is outside of the shrink wrap. It's sitting behind me with the rules booklet out. I keep going like, "Oh, the rules are out. I just need to like read a little more of the rules, and then I can be ready to play." Or like, "Oh, this should be the weekend I play it," and just don't get around to it. But it looks really cool, and I'm hoping I can try it at some point. I also kind of put a like a sub bullet point in here for the deck builder because that's another one that I did buy and I'm like, okay, I can play this at any time and just like haven't got around to it. At least I have semi played that because I played the original, before the Clone Wars. But Mandalorian Adventures is like completely new, so it feels like I've really missed out in that way.
Okay, well, I guess we have to play that this this weekend. Somebody drive over here, or we can
We can
webcam it. We'll
meet
just
up halfway in like Watertown or something.
yeah. We can do a webcam version. We each have copies. We just need to make sure they're both shuffled. All the cards are like shuffled the same way.
Have
You
someone, a third party, like order
you
them.
could maybe do the deck builder over webcam. It's just you would only have the Galaxy row like actually out on one person's camera, and then like
The
if
other
you would
person can
want to
go
buy, you
pull.
buy one of the cards, Kurt pulls it off his row and gets rid of it, and then you got to look through your set you have there for that card. You
Hmm.
Yeah.
know,
Hmm. Yeah, easy.
Okay, next category. Most improved. Okay, this is an easy one to put a spin on. We can go improved, most improved in a
Okay. Yeah.
Darth Vader voice. So my most improved, I'm honestly I don't remember what I wrote here. I wrote
A lot. You wrote a lot.
apparently I wrote a lot. I have some thoughts here. I wrote Shatterpoint question mark. I feel like it should be Legion because of the new rules, but because I haven't had been able to sit down and play that, I cannot like authoritatively say it's Legion. Um, and I could also say Outlaws because from launch to now, they've actually done a lot of work responding to feedback and bugs and stuff. But I didn't actually have a lot of the same critiques that other people did. So I'm going to just say Shatterpoint just because it got a lot of releases this year. Oh, and because I see an award that's not listed that maybe we got rid of it last year or the year before. What just expansion of the year. We used to have that.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know where that
Well, you
went. I
forgot
must
to
have gotten
write
rid
that
of it.
down. Way to go, Joe.
I think
I copied this from
fits
last
under
year.
here. It fits under here. It's kind of the same topic, sort of.
Yeah, well, my expansion of the year is the Nothing Left to Fear pack. I don't remember the names of the Shatterpoint packs. The one with Kanan, no, Make the Impossible Possible. That's the one with Harris Sabine and Chopper because Chopper in Shatterpoint is great. Yeah, Shatterpoint's my most improved. Not that that sort of implies, like you were saying, like it has to go from sucking to being good, but it went from a game I really really like to a game I really really like with even more to do. Leo, what was most improved?
I ended up choosing Legion just because, like I mentioned earlier, I, what I have played of the newer rules, I do like. Excuse me, a lot of the changes they made. There's a couple in there that I still find a little baffling, but like they fixed a lot of my issues I had with cover because boy did I not like the the original changes that they made to cover at all. But that works. It works a lot better now. And yeah, like I said, overall, I do like um, a lot of the changes they made. A lot of the cards, they've got a really nice new modern look. Um, and looking forward to next year when I can actually pick up the one of the card pack with all the new stuff actually printed. So, yeah, I say Legion.
Kurt, what game
I
did you go? You know what? It doesn't suck anymore.
Well, not quite
Right.
that, but I mean, I was tempted to say unlimited because, from its release going into set 2, set 3, I think they kept adding lots and lots of cool stuff. So I felt like it improved a lot, even though it came out this year. But I ended up saying the same as you, Joe. Shatterpoint. There were just lots of new releases for it. Even though I didn't really play with most of the new releases, it was cool to see like so many new characters being added. I think they like found ways to put different spins on a lot of the new characters, and there were also the mission packs were this year, right? Too, and like those were sorely needed in my opinion for just the core like game experience. So I
Well,
think those
not
were good
only that, but
improvements.
they released a print and play scenario. The two different game modes. One uh, the sort of asymmetrical narrative ish thing, and as well as like the 1v8 mode with like the
Oh yeah.
superpower character, which I haven't tried either of those yet. I really want to, but I have found a couple people around here who are into Shatterpoint. It's just a matter of finding time to meet up with them in town. That brings us to what is this button? I was hoping that was a drum roll. It's not. That brings us to the JodoCast Game of the Year Award, presented by... Okay, so for this one, we do it a little bit different than the previous ones. As I mentioned, the nominees for this award are any Star Wars game ever. Okay, notably previous years, the Star Wars CCG has been Leo's pick for the last, well, however long that game has existed. Also, unlike the other ones, this is one that we also all have to come to a consensus on. We get our own individual picks, but in the end, we have to come to a consensus. Which it's sort of like how the Academy picks Oscar winners. This is pretty much the same process. My pick for Game of the Year is Star Wars Unlimited.
Woo!
Because it's a fantastic game and it's occupied the most of my time since it came out of all of the other games. Probably almost certainly surpassed Shatterpoint, although Shatterpoint, I should mention in our recap of 2024 stuff, went to Adepticon and had a lot of Shatterpoint fun there. I guess I also played at Legion Worlds this year. So many things happened this year that I don't even remember. But yeah, Unlimited, just played a lot of it, spent a lot of time thinking about it, building decks, doing stuff. Also gets big points because Bethany has fun with it too. It's easy to drag her to pre-release and sealed events. So Star Wars Unlimited is my pick for Game of the Year. But can it win the coveted triple award that's never been done before? Because Leo always picks the Star Wars CCG, so nobody's ever swept. Nobody's ever swept.
This is the year it happens. I feel
Kurt, what is your pick for Game of the Year 2024?
My pick is Star Wars Unlimited, baby. I mean, going all the way back to the community celebration and each set that came out, it's been so much fun. Definitely been the game I played the most. Definitely been the game I spent the most on. Just a really good game. Really, really been impressed with the design the whole way through.
All right, Leo. Give us your thoughts. Don't reveal it yet. But how do you feel about Star Wars CCG in the year of our Lord 2024?
I mean, I love the game. You know, I don't think, other than maybe like the pen and paper role playing games, I don't feel like there's another game that lets you tell Star Wars stories and stuff in quite the same way, and it just nails the thematic elements of Star Wars from top to bottom. Yeah, it's almost a perfect game. That's all there is to it.
And what is your pick for JodoCast Game of the Year 2024, presented by Cerveza Crystal?
And so, yeah, I had to give it to
Star Wars. He did it again!
Customizable card game.
He did it again.
I love Unlimited. I think it's a really, really great game. I still, like I said, I think just because of the theme and like the thematic elements and all that stuff, that still just pushes the old CCG slightly over the top for me.
I can respect that. That is the minorest of quibbles I have with Unlimited. Is it falls a little flat in the storytelling aspect.
I will say that when it comes time for us to pick our collective winner, I will have no qualms with you know, choosing Star Wars Unlimited along with you two for that. But my personal game of the year still is the CCG.
I mean, Unlimited is a real triumph in a way. Like we talked about this at the community celebration, but like going back a few years, you never would have guessed that they would try to do another Star Wars card game at FFG, right? And they like completely nailed it. You know, they knocked it out of the park, and like you can see like the sort of clarity of that vision in the game and in the fact that they were able to pitch it and like pull it off. You know what I mean? So I think it's like a real triumph.
Yeah, it is. It's such like a big undertaking, like that, especially just given like the history of Star Wars collectible card games. It's so fun. I haven't met anybody who tried it who didn't like it. Like even maybe people who are like into other card games and aren't going to be able to buy into it. They'll just go, "Oh, this is okay." Apparently, Kurt's met a lot of those people.
So I did demo it for one guy who it seemed like he really wanted it to be the Decipher CCG, and I was like trying to explain, like, you know, it's not trying to like simulate. You don't have to like fly to the right planet, all this stuff. And he seemed really off put by that. And I was like trying to pitch him on what the strengths of Unlimited were, but he seemed to just want to play Decipher CCG. So
Yeah, no, I know some folks like that, mostly because I'm in like a couple different like CCG discords and stuff, and there's a few who are, you know, they're like I said, I really like how granular the old CCG can get and how many different elements of the movies and stuff it can simulate within the game. But at the same time, a game doesn't have to do that. Not every game has to do that. There there can be a little bit of, you know, I guess like I don't know if you'd call it like suspension of disbelief. That's not really like the right term I'm going for here, but it's just like, you know, use your imagination a little bit here.
yeah, I feel like there's also sometimes this weird mindset with franchised properties where it's like, you know, there's a Star Wars RPG that is the Star Wars RPG and that's the official one. You can't ever have a second one because it's like, what are you doing? There's already one. And I feel like some people will be like that with like a card game too. It's like, this is supposed to be the same game, isn't it? It's the Star Wars card game. It's like, well, no, it's a completely different company. It's not related, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And I really get the kind of the simulationist storytelling thing because that's one of the why I love Outer Rim is one of my favorite games because that is one of the games that tells the most exciting stories. That's why I love Legion and Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint is more abstract than Legion, weirdly enough. At least maybe it's changed with the new rules. Maybe Legion is a little bit more abstracted with the POI things, but it's still like I can like see the beginning of the game and follow a narrative to the end of the game where I see the little guys running around doing things and I can like, you know, joke with my opponent like what they're doing and like even on like we're in like Unlimited.
There is
There's
some of
you can
that,
tell little
but it's
stories
not the
moment to
same level.
moment, play to play, but like there's no overarching narrative from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. It's, you know, we're not fighting over Dagobah. We're just it's more of an abstract game that has really great, you know, it's got the Star Wars paint that makes me want to play it, and there's fun little moment to moment things, but I'm not going, well, why did the cantina bouncer tell Darth Vader's Star Destroyer to, you know, leave the orbit? Like it doesn't matter. It's just
But it's
mechanics are
also
there.
like it's way less abstract than rivals or whatever, right? Where it's just like some of those ones where it's like, well, you have a higher
Oh,
number and
right.
it's like,
Yeah. Star Wars Rivals, that Funko game, which I think is actually a surprisingly decent little game. But yeah, that one's, you know, that's very abstract. You're not going like, well, how did C3PO kick Palpatine out of here? It's like whatever. It's just you got your sometimes it's enough to have your pictures of Star Wars guys wrapped around a fun game, and the mechanics don't always have to like feed a narrative, which
Yeah, like
sometimes that comes through in Unlimited, but I've never played an
Yeah, in
entire game.
moments.
The story is of the game itself and the mechanics and the moves that you and your opponent are
Right.
doing. That's the story you go back and tell. Whereas other games, you might have a story where you're relaying what happened in the game as if it were like an in-universe story, and that doesn't happen with Unlimited. You don't
yeah,
go, oh well, then Luke and Vader fought for a little bit, and Leia came in and did this. It's like, no, there's just but that's not a that's like a thing I recognize with Unlimited, and it's weird because that's something that I appreciate in my games is when I can tell a little story. But um,
It is kind of freeing too, because I think there's an extent where it let the designers focus on like fun mechanics. You know what I mean? There's a point where it's like, okay, we don't have to try and make this fit this simulation of like, okay, Darth Vader has to be stronger than General Riken or whatever.
yeah,
Right? It's
yeah.
kind of
it's
freeing.
a
I'm glad that they're not, like not doing everything as like the top down style design, where it's like you
right.
start with the character and then go from there, or necessarily. So, clearly there's some stuff it's a mix of bottom up and top down design. But I've
Yeah, a
also
nice
seen,
balance, I
like I
think.
saw in some space, a guy who was a CCG fan said, he said that it's clear that Star Wars Unlimited is a game first and a Star Wars game second, or something, it's clear that it's a game first and Star Wars second. And I was like, well, I mean, it is a game, so I don't see how that's really a criticism uh, of the product.
Yeah, and like you said, it's because it's a deck building game. Like in Shatterpoint, where you do have uh more freedom than in other games to mix and match and go kind of off script, where it's like, okay, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader are on the same team. I don't do that in Shatterpoint because I like to have a little idea of maybe why my guys are working together, what's going on, see the little story play out. Like if you watched our Ewoktober video, like Kurt and I couldn't help but come up with a backstory for the events that were taking place. Because that's like just such not a thing in Unlimited, it makes it a lot easier for me to like put like, okay, let's put Anakin and Vader and Snoke all on the same deck or whatever, because like it's I'm more concerned about like how the mechanics of these cards. But maybe they just needed that flavor text to
I wouldn't have been opposed to flavor text. I still
we got to come up with our own flavor text. We'll have like a database of flavor text for these cards.
Like a premium add-on. You can subscribe to
Yeah,
get flavor text, and we'll like read it out to you while you
yeah.
play.
You subscribe to our Patreon at the $20 level. You tell me your favorite card, and I'll come up with some flavor text real quick. So, game of the year 2024 is Star Wars Unlimited. Congratulations. Oh crap, I was about to hit the applause button, but I accidentally clicked the little X that deletes it from my soundboard. So thanks, Zencaster. That's a cool feature. Yeah, so congrats to everybody at Fantasy Flight who has worked on the game, continues to work on the game, looked at the game. You're all involved. And you'll probably will try and get an award in your hands eventually whenever we see you. That's the cool thing about this show is the award shows up whenever it does, if it does. So we'll come up with something. And that's not even the end of this show. That's the end of the award show now. It
The
is
after party.
the time to look back on the year, which we sort of did, but all right, we're going to blast. Every year we make predictions and resolutions about the next year, and we look back at the previous year. So we're going to look back at how dumb we were in 2023 when we did this. My prediction for 2024 was that Unlimited will be fun, but my local community won't really take off. X-Wing continues to languish. We get a new video game announcement. So Unlimited was fun. My community did take off, both my communities, since I moved to communities. X-Wing not only languished, but it died. And did we get a new announcement? Outlaws came out. I don't think there was any new announcements for video games. I think we heard a little bit more about some already announced games, like the XCOM people are making one. So I guess I was half right on that. My resolution was to release a new gameplay video for Rebellion. Oops. And I am editing one at the moment. I recorded one and I'm editing it. There's no way it's going to be out by the end of the year, though. And more Shatterpoint and Legion gameplay videos. There was a few Legion and was there a Legion one this year? I don't know. There was a few Shatterpoint ones.
There was the EU October one.
That was Shatterpoint.
Oh yeah.
Legion, we've just had some 2-minute unit, but I don't think we've had
any gameplay. Yeah.
So Leo, what happened last year? What did you say? How dumb were you?
Well, let's see.
That's what this section is called. How dumb were you?
I said I was going to go broke as fuck buying Star Wars Unlimited. I said that the X-Wing spiral will continue, and that Outlaws will be okay.
All right, I think you were right on all of those counts.
I was pretty right on all those counts. Yeah, I mean, I've bought, about 2 cases per set of Unlimited here, so. So I haven't actually gone broke doing that, but it hasn't been a cheap hobby.
We need to have you need to come up with like some kind of set every episode to dress your background to make it look like you're going more and more destitute. But while like the Unlimited boxes pile up, like there's I don't know, like rubble.
I'll have to start a stack. Like I've got my stack of all my unpainted Legion boxes there behind me.
Yeah, you can ask your children to wander through in like rags and like holding like a porridge bucket.
I actually finally just cleaned out my office earlier here today. You can't see it, but this whole floor back here was littered with empty Unlimited boxes. I think I threw away about 20 of them.
Oh, you could start saving the booster wrappers until you have enough to make like a leaf pile type thing you can jump into. My resolution was to make some good Unlimited content / videos, and I think we did that. I think we did.
Yeah.
I mean, the celebration we've done.
I think we could have done more, maybe, but
I was busy.
I think what I
will say, my favorite video I've ever made came out this year, and it was Unlimited, and more people should watch it because it's underperforming. So if you're watching this and you have not watched my gameplay video of Unlimited Twin Suns, where we eat gross jelly beans when we take damage, go watch it because we suffered for that, and I think it's the best video I've ever made.
I think quality to views ratio on that video is it's criminally underwatched, I think.
Kurt, how dumb were you?
My predictions last year were Star Wars Outlaws will be fine, but not original enough to be awesome. Unlimited will be really popular, but not enough to turn me into a card gamer. And X-Wing Death Spiral will continue unabated. Still no new ships announced. So yeah, the Unlimited one, I really under expected on it. I thought like, okay, it'll be cool to try out, but like I thought it would be like Destiny for me, that I'd be like, okay, that's cool, but I'm probably not going to buy a bunch already. But yeah, Unlimited really got its hooks in, so I missed on that a little bit. And then the X-Wing Death Spiral was true, but I honestly did not expect it to be canceled. So I feel like that was worse than I expected. I thought we would get kind of more of the same, where not much is coming out, but they didn't want to kill it yet, so that's too bad. Outlaws, I said the same as you guys, so pretty much like, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah,
Other than I didn't predict technical issues.
I was gonna say though, when we were talking about Unlimited, that's kind of an indicator of the game's quality. I think is the fact that you two guys who are not TCG players have gotten into it as much as you have. You know, me, it's probably no surprise. I played all the other stuff, other Star Wars TCGs before this. I played Magic. I, played various other TCGs. So Unlimited was like right up my alley. But the fact that it brought you both in, I think is a testament to just how good the game really is.
Yeah, I think so. Then resolutions last year, I said play more games, including some tournaments. Also get back on the 2MU train or get other short form content going regularly. Finish modding my Lightyear ship. So I did just do that last one. Finally got around to it.
Mine's still in the box.
Is the by the time you listen to this, the video of your
Yeah.
it will be out, right?
It will be out.
Yeah, you should be able to watch me, and you can go way back to a year and a half ago when I had was expecting to finish it and did not get started.
Because we bought that right about when Shatterpoint launched.
It was like May 2023, I think, at least my footage that I had. So took a while, but I'm glad that I did pay off that resolution because it was cool.
It looks great.
It looks great.
Everybody go watch it. I think it's fantastic, and I want to go play a game on it.
For my other resolutions, play more games. I was kind of meaning minis games, which I didn't do, but I did play a lot of Unlimited, it was good to get out and play games, and it was fun. Actually, I got to play games with people I used to play minis games with, so it was kind of like fun to kind of return to the community, including some tournaments. So I did do that. 2-minute unit and other short form content we have had a little of this year, but it's been tough. And I don't have an excuse like moving for months or whatever. So, but we've got some content. Yeah.
All right, let's set ourselves up to look dumb next year. My prediction for 2025, nothing too crazy going on here. I think Unlimited is going to keep blowing up, keep being fun. Shatterpoint and Legion are going to keep popping out cool stuff. And we're going to get some fresh looks at a number of video games that are in the pipeline. So hopefully that means trailers and gameplay looks. That's what I'm hoping. My resolution is to actually get that Rebellion video out that I talked about last year. Like I said, it's recorded. I've been editing it. They're just a lot of work. And then just to settle in more in my new home and get back into the swing of video production, making videos, editing videos, because that definitely slowed down since I moved. Obviously, having a house to tinker with eats into that, but I need to get back into doing that sort of thing. Kurt.
For predictions, I felt like my predictions last year were very safe, so I wanted to get just a little crazier. Lots of crazy cool stuff for Unlimited. That one's pretty safe. I think the new sets will be cool. But then I said surprise expansion announced for Outer Rim with the Mandalorian / New Republic content. So I'm shooting my shot with that. It's gonna be announced. Also, new Star Wars RPG will be announced. But it's a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition adaptation rather than an original system. So that's my prediction.
At least it's not 4th.
I really like the 4th edition. Let's not get into the whole argument.
Especially since you're wrong. Jeez.
So resolutions for this year. Pretty simply, I want to paint more and I want to edit more. I didn't get a ton of painting done or a ton of editing done, but I want to find some cool projects and just get more of those knocked out.
All right, Leah, what's 2025 got for Leo
I
Town.
predict that I actually will go broke this time because now there's going to be carbonite boosters, and those are a lot more expensive for unlimited.
That would be a good like deck box, like a carbonite slab.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably 3D printed carbonite deck boxes out there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a thing
It
that.
needs to be a motorized, like the actual carbon freezing, and the arm comes down and like pulls your deck
Ah,
out.
No,
But
that's no.
it's really slow, and you
It
have to
goes
wait
out.
for
It pulls out one card at a time. That's how you draw from your deck.
it.
So yeah, that's. I guess other than that, I don't have a ton of predictions. Other than, um, I think maybe this will be the year that we finally get another. Uh, I don't know. I don't know.
he can't
That's all
even
I
dare
got.
say it. He dare not speak it.
I'm sure we'll get some kind of video game announcement this year, but I got nothing specific for that. My resolutions for the year would be to get back to playing and painting Legion again. Um, like I said, I do miss the game. It's just I don't know my for whatever reason my motivation to play has been kind of lacking, um, and Unlimited's taking up a lot of the time too. But yeah, but on the topic of Unlimited, I want to on our Discord continue running some Star Wars Unlimited leagues after the one we're doing right now ends, because it's been a lot of fun getting together with people on the Discord and uh,
Yeah, I would
playing the game over webcam with them.
put our webcam league up there with, because we went to the community celebration, we went to Adepticon, we went to Gen Con. The webcam league we're running, I put that up there as like one of the coolest things we've done this year because it's been a lot of fun. If you're watching this, it's not too late to get in on it. We're just running an unlimited webcam league on our Discord for you to enter, and there's prizes if you play enough games.
Yeah, you just got to
Um,
get 5 matches in before January 12th, I think, is the last day of the league. So
yeah,
there you go.
it's been great, and everybody's a lot of fun to play with, and it's not hard to find games. So that is that, except for we've got a little bit from our patrons who I told to keep it short, but I don't think that happened. That's okay, because so I asked our patrons to give us their highlights from the year or their predictions for next year or their resolutions. Just hit us with whatever. And the Beard 1808, good friend of the show, his highlights were Adepticon. It was very fun hanging out with Joe and Evan. That's me. Had lots of fun playing Shatterpoint and showing off my proposing battle droids. I'll put a picture of that up here. But if you haven't seen, uh, John modded his battle droids in Shatterpoint to make it look like one was proposing to the other, and it's probably my favorite like mini mod I've ever seen. Gonk Droid Racing was amazing. Star Wars Unlimited in general has been very fun to play and really scratches the card gaming itch that had been missed. Opening a showcase Ahsoka in Set 3 was amazing. Hanging out with some Jodo folks during the Minneapolis Unlimited Planetary Qualifier was great. And John's resolution are go to one bigger Unlimited or Shatterpoint event. Sorry, nothing fancy this year. Well, you're not forgiven. You need to go to Japan. Go to Celebration
He needs to
Star
go to
Wars.
one of those events, well, dressed up really,
Yeah,
really fancy.
as Jodo cast. The cheaper, the better. Just
Cardboard armor.
Yeah.
yeah. And patron Andy says Star Wars Unlimited has definitely been the highlight of Star Wars gaming for me. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. And having a new Star Wars TCG to spend time with has been a lot of fun. Drive to the Twin Cities for a planetary qualifier with Leo and Ryan was a blast, and looking forward to doing more in 2025. So
Nice.
that's a couple look backs from a couple of our favoritist people. So we'd love to hear what you have to say about that too. What was your favorite Star Wars gaming moments, highlights from 2024? What are you looking forward to in 2025? Please leave a comment under this video if you're watching on YouTube, or come over to our Discord and let us know on Discord if you're, listening to this in an audio version. Because I want to know. Everybody has different favorite things, and that's what I like about the Jodo cast is we kind of give all of those different places, an outlet for sharing what you like about Star Wars games.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else before we fade away until 2025?
Just that it was, I think this was it's been kind of a crazy year. Like you said, we had a lot of stuff outside the podcast that we went and did. Like we went to the community celebration. You guys did Adepticon. I did Gen Con with Evan, um, just going to the planetary qualifiers and stuff as well. It's been a cool year all around, I think. Well, other than X-Wing and Armada, but that's...
And on that note, I did just, for whatever reason, I thought of what's his name, Triumph, the dog from Conan. I think he works for the Daily Show now. And like maybe we could get something like that, just a little JodoCast hand puppet to interview people with.
Like a salacious crumb or something.
Only if it's like one of those. Do you remember those weird like punching little hand puppets that would just be like?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would have to be a JodoCast version of that. So if the JodoCast does not like the answer whoever they're interviewing gives, you just.
I'd have to get better at crowd work to do that. But that is one thing I, after last year at Adepticon, if I go back, I do want to spend less time burning out playing in huge tournaments and more time trying to talk to the people playing those games and feel more like a journalist. But that's 2024. I think 2025 will be exciting. Oh, another very small footnote in all of the things we did was technically we were a sponsor at a gaming convention. The university that I work at now, the Game Club, puts on a free game convention every year where they're, video games and tabletop games, and they were doing like a Warhammer tournament and a Magic pre-release and stuff. And JodoCast was the sponsor of that, which is cool. And I plan on doing that next year and trying to be more involved and trying to host some sort of event, whether that probably going to be an unlimited event because that'll be the easiest thing to pull people in for because there's a lot of those around, but could be a Legion thing, could be a Shatterpoint thing. We'll see. I want to be more involved, and it'll be fun to eventually we can take it over and convert it into JodoCon. So look forward to
going
that.
Bankrupt at some point, and we can like buy it up for cheap and change the name.
the free convention that's funded by like donations and like the student club stuff. I mean, it was very impressive for something run by a student organization, for sure. It was big. There was a lot of people, and like the vendors in the region all had booths there, and they were like selling all sorts of stuff. It was cool. So I'm looking forward to that next year too. So from all of us at the JodoCast,